Sitting right here. Margaret is a trainer, author, and consultant specializing in persuasion, consensus building, and communication skills. This morning, she's going to talk about prison ministry. And I think she'll mention this too, but she has a book about her father, which is very interesting. I was looking through it this morning. I was pleased to see that he was a sailor, which I am too. And that's kind of nice. So, and it's out there on the foyer if you want to take a look at it. So here's Margaret.
Can y'all hear me? Now? Okay. Well, as Jerry said, I am a trainer, author, and consultant, and I've spoken here many times about my professional subject matter, which is consensus building and related communication skills. But today, I am going to tell you all about the Church of the Larger Fellowship, and especially about its prison ministry. First, I am going to take a moment just to plug my latest book, my fourth book. As Jerry said, it's a memoir about my dad's experiences in the Navy in World War II. He had a lot of really unique experiences. It's not a book about a lot of battles. It's about more like human interest. And there's a sample of it on the table outside. And I put some business cards out there because if you want to find it on Amazon, the best way is to go to my website, which is on the cards, and click at the menu on Margaret's books, and you'll be able to find a description of it, picture of the cover, and a direct link to it on Amazon. Okay? So today I'm going to talk about the Church of the Larger Fellowship and specifically their Worthy Now prison ministry. The Church of the Larger Fellowship, or CLF as we call it, is a virtual congregation. It has a long history way back before there was virtual anything, and they communicated with their members by mail and I guess by phone if they wanted pastoral care, and mailed out their excellent magazine, which is called Quest. And it originally started mainly for people like in rural areas or small towns that weren't close enough to a brick-and-mortar Unitarian church. Now they have online services, pastoral care by video conferencing. They still have the Quest magazine. And I especially want you to know that any UU can participate in their prison ministry. You don't have to be a member of the CLF. So the Worthy Now prison ministry, I like the name of it, Worthy Now. CLF is the largest UU congregation in the United States with well over 3,000 members. There's slightly more than half of those members are incarcerated. We don't go into the prisons and proselytize, but people find out about us by word of mouth primarily, or the Quest magazine. There was one man who worked in a prison who saw the Quest magazine in a waste paper basket and picked it up and saw, well, this is interesting, and he got in touch and he ended up joining the church. They have to take a little class about our religion, pass a little test. So there are several ways. Can y'all hear me way over there? How about this? Is this better? How is it now? Over here? Okay. So the prison ministry has several activities. The main one that most people know about is we have a pen pal program. And we also send out holiday greetings and birthday greetings. I've got administrative work on here with a question mark because I believe that they really could use some help, and we're working on what that's going to look like. So first, about the pen pal program. There are a lot of safety measures in place. You have to be 3 states distance from your pen pal. So for example, you could not have, if you're in Texas, you could not have a pen pal in New Mexico or Arizona, but you could have one in Nevada. The incarcerated pen pal gets no information about their free world pen pal except for their first name. Now, the way we correspond is that I put my letter in a number 8 envelope. The return address on there is the CLF address in Boston, and it's addressed to my pen pal, his name, his prisoner number, and the facility where he is. And I put my letter in there. And then I put the little envelope into a number 10 envelope. That has my real return address, and it has the address of the CLF offices in Boston. So I send it, and they open it and take the little envelope out and mail it. I've stamped both envelopes, and they mail it. Now, that procedure is pretty much reversed when he writes to me, except that all he knows is my first name. So when they take his little envelope out of the big envelope, they have to use the cross-reference spreadsheet and look me up and finish addressing that envelope. So there's quite a lot of work involved in this. And that process is, sometimes we have our pen pal Zoom meetings, and they'll pan around and show us how much mail is stacked up waiting to be handled. Now, holiday greetings around, the winter holidays, you can volunteer to send 10 or more greetings. And they're pretty plain vanilla because each prison has their own regulations. Some will not allow things with printed in color. Some will not allow a card-sized envelope or an actual card. And Beth, the lady who runs the program, has compiled all of the regulations, and because we can't just, there's no time to sort these out and send them to the different prisons with different regulations. So she will provide you a design. So like around Christmas time, she'll have 3 designs to choose from. And it's something like this. Happy holidays. It's 8.5 by 11, all black and white. And you just sign your first name in the little rectangular area, and you can write a little sentence or 2. But since all they know is your first name and nothing else, we just mail them directly with our own return address. The birthday greetings. Birthday greetings are similar to holiday greetings, and the way that's handled is there's a team who sends out birthday greetings, and they have a spreadsheet for each month. And if you join the team, they will figure out how many birthdays we have, say, in July, and they will divide the number of July birthdays by the number of people on the team. And then from there on out, it's pretty similar to the holiday greetings. They're even more plain. So here's what they look like. It's just the chalice and the space to write a name and a little greeting. Now, if you would like more information, the lady in charge is Beth Murray. I know you don't probably going to want to write down her email address, but the best thing to do is go to the CLF website. But you have to be careful about artificial stupidity, because Google is now using AI for the searches, which means that if you search for the Church of the Larger Fellowship Unitarian Universalist, that probably won't be the top thing on the list. The top thing on the list is the UUA website, and you can go there and try to find your way to the CLF. So be sure that you just scroll down, and their website is called Quest for Meaning, and you'll see how to get there. But you can get there from the UUA website if you want to. I would like now to tell you about some of the individual experiences that we pen pals have, because it's very moving. This is a very moving thing to do, and it's kind of hard on me sometimes emotionally, but I want to do it, for that very reason, because I learn about somebody who's very different from myself, has very different ideas, and we have our Pen Pals Zoom meetings for the Free World Pen Pals a few times a year, and we also have a Facebook group for the Free World Pen Pals, and it's so eclectic. I mean, you find people who are writing about theology back and forth to the incarcerated pen pal. My pen pal really likes to write about just what's been going on in his life, what's going on with his family. He's due to be released in December or January, and he'll write to me about what he's doing to try to pave the way to get a decent job. He very much wants to get a college degree. But it's a bit naive. He will have been inside for 12 years, and so much has changed, especially artificial stupidity. But other things have changed, and they don't get much. I was talking to the lady who's worked in the prisons. Where are you? There she is in the back row. All the wonderful programs in the prisons where she was, that especially for women, and they taught them some really useful skills. My pen pals facility has ceramics and leather work, and that's it. So I worry about him. But when we have our Zoom meetings, it's in our Facebook group, it's just all over the board. I mean, we had one meeting recently, and the guy who was running it said, a lot of people, you know, your first letter that you get from your pen pal is going to be, you got to get me out of here. And then, you know, what you do is, so he gives us advice and says, then what you do is you write to him and say, here's what I cannot do for you, and here's what I can do for you. When we get a pen pal, Beth sends a letter that says to me, we found you a match in Missouri. And I asked, well, do you also use that word match in the letter that goes to the incarcerated pen pal? Yeah. Well, I think some of these guys get the wrong end of the stick, you know, because there's one who was very subtle, very polite, but his first letter to his pen pal gave a big description of the facility where he is. And, you know, we have a library of X number of video or DVDs that we can watch and different things. And then he describes himself in great detail: height, weight, complexion, eye color, hair color. And so, but I'd really like to know more about you. What do you like to do for fun? So I sort of waited for a graceful opportunity, because he does write about his family, and said, you know, I'm not much younger than your dad. And then the tenor of our letters changed, because I found that he started asking my advice about things and asking my opinion about things, which is kind of nice. So maybe he thinks of me as kind of an aunt. But there was another lady in our Facebook group whose pen pal asked her to send pictures of herself. Now that should have been a red flag, or at least a yellow flag, I think, but she sent the pictures, and the letters she got back were just, I'm not even going to talk about them. So anyway, it's all over the board, and it's just very rewarding. How's my time? Am I close to 20 minutes? I don't know what time I started. Got some time? So I wonder if any of you have any questions or comments. Yes, sir.
I was surprised that the issue of what prisoners would like to do for fun didn't even come up with. I thought they spent like 98% of their time staring at the four walls.
Oh, no, he was asking me what I like to do for fun. Anything else? Yes. Yes, well, I think she asked if we ever had the opportunity to encourage people and give them hope. And of course, we try to do that at every opportunity. You know, so for example, when I wrote to my pen pal about his wish to go to college, and you know, I enhanced that. If he's been working in one of the few little shops where they can teach them something that may or may not be useful, but I say, that's really great. I'm glad you're doing that. I'm glad you're learning something. And so what you have to say will vary with what they have to say to you. I know that one of the Free World pen pals reported that her incarcerated pen pal had made a resolution that when he gets out, his goal is to become the best dad he can possibly be. And that's, you know, that's what makes it worthwhile when you hear something like that. I'm trying to think of another one. Oh, yes. There's an incarcerated member, I don't remember where, but he knew about all the changes and all the problems with 24-hour news and artificial intelligence and so forth, and he wrote an article for the Quest magazine about how he wished that the people could get some of this kind of information and training before they're just dumped out there. It's just, I don't know what else to say, really. Are there other questions or comments? Yes, ma'am. She asked whether the prison reads my letter before it's given to the prisoner. I think most of them do, but if where my pen pal is, if they do that, apparently everything I've written passes muster, because he always writes to me the way when we were younger, we were told how to write a proper letter and how you reply to the things that the other person wrote. And he almost always replies to everything I wrote. So either my letters pass muster, or this is, where he is not a real high security kind of place. It's going to be more like white collar type crime. So I think they may not censor as much for that reason, but I don't really know. I have never heard that they do, but I can go to our Facebook group, and if I forget, you remind me. I can go to our Facebook group and ask that question. And has anybody ever had a pen pal on death row? And what can you tell me about that experience? Sure, they're members. Well, actually, Margaret, I just recently found out from our Facebook group that you can continue writing to your pen pal with the 2-envelope system after they get out. And they will still send those letters, you know, for you. A couple of particular points about Texas. Texas is a great big state, and Texas has the most number of incarcerated people of any state in the U.S. In some ways, they are especially enlightened. For example, I found out that the Texas prison system has given every inmate an e-tablet, like a Apple iPad, that's what it's called. There's a trans woman who, unlike most places, was able to get the medicine that she needed in a Texas prison. The thing that's difficult right now is that they have all of our mail, like when we're doing the birthday greetings or the holiday greetings, all the mail goes to a central P.O. box from all the different units. And then they're distributed out from there. So it takes a long time to get the mail back and forth. And some of the Free World Pen Pals are they use something, I think it's a way that they can email safely, and I'm not sure if it's pronounced Secure Us or Secure US, but anyway, it's supposed to be a safe way of being able to email your pen pal. I have also heard some complaints about it in our Facebook group, but I can't remember right now what they were. I don't know, but my cards are by my book about my dad on the back table. And if you want to get in touch with me and remind me, you have my phone number, my email address, I can find out for you. Well, I don't know. I mean, like I said before, we don't go into the facilities and proselytize. People find us by word of mouth. So I really have no idea, but I do know that of the 3,000 plus members of the CLF, somewhat more than half of those are incarcerated. So I will try to find that out. And did somebody else ask a question that I said I would try to find out? Yeah. Jerry? No? Somebody's pointing at you from the back. Yes. Please remind me, and I will find out about that. Yes, ma'am. She asked if any of our Free World and incarcerated pen pals got together after they were released. Yes. Now, I know of some, and one of our Zoom meetings, some of them have even offered the incarcerated pen pal a place to stay, at least for a few weeks, and took them into their home. But I would be very careful about doing that. Now, one of them who mentioned doing that he said the guy's crime was rape. I'm not afraid of him, but he's not going to stay here very long, and I'm going to watch him very carefully because there's a school down the street. Now, there was an elderly lady who said, sure, I give him up. I mean, she's had more than one in the house, I think, at the same time, and some of them do have more than one pen pal. So this is where you get down to your personal judgment, but the church can't be responsible. You know, don't go back complaining to them if you get together and it doesn't go well. there was one thing I saw in our Facebook group recently was a woman posted and said, well, I guess we UUs are not as liberal as we think we are, because I wanted, my pen pal got out and I wanted to bring him to our church, and some people were concerned about that because there are children in the church. And excuse me, ma'am, but they're not the only ones who don't know what liberal means, and they're entitled to their reservations because you don't know what he's going to be like after he gets out. And if there are children in the congregation, I think it would be in order that this person be checked out. Now, the head minister of the CLF replied to that and said, give me the contact information and everybody's, names and so forth, and I will try to pave the way for that. Yes, ma'am. They should be. I guess I hadn't thought about that, but yeah, they should be because of those safety precautions. But I don't know. Maybe they give them at least enough money to get on a bus and go somewhere. They're going to go to halfway houses in between anyway, and that may be in a different state. And I think Jerry's telling me time's up. Thank you all very much.
Okay, thank you, Margaret.